Hello. What's up? That is my dog's crate. I usually put him in there when I leave the house, but sometimes I don't. But it's cute because I think a lot of people think crates are like weird or like not necessary. But I do feel personally, it's helped my dog a lot with like um him having like a home, right? Like he can be on my bed and he has a bed right next to his crate. But I think sometimes he wants to feel like, I don't know, like protected, safe, I guess. And so he'll just like go into his crate and just like chill in there with the door open. Um, so I don't know. Just wanted to call that out because, yeah, I feel like, yeah, some folks just really hate crates. And I get it. I get it. I think because a lot of people don't use them in the best way for their dog, it sort of becomes this like, um, why are you using a crate sort of situation. Anyways, that is not what what we're doing here. If you're sticking with me, you probably have noticed I am just trying. I'm trying out different things, not on purpose. More so like I'm just trying to follow my gut. And some days I am, really into, right now I'm working on this like project on this app called Softer, which if you saw my last video, I think, was talking about what that was all about. Basically, it's a no-code web app builder thing, and so I was using that to build a tattoo directory, which now turned into a tattoo matching service. So little by little, I'm like tweaking. So yeah, I'm working on that, and as you've probably noticed, there's not necessarily like one specific theme to my channel. The theme, I think the underlying theme of my life and of this channel will really just be around helping folks and helping people like you, helping people like me, helping myself really. Like I think a lot of the times when I want to give, it also allows me to receive a lot of that as well. So me making content is pouring back into myself, by allowing me to expand, right? Like how I'm approaching life, what I'm learning, narrowing in on what's actually important versus just trying to do everything. So, and I think in that same vein, hopefully pouring into people that are watching in some way, whether you like this content or not, like that is okay. But I think a lot of the times, it's easy to get caught up in like not doing something because maybe it doesn't have like this inherent value or this like monetary value. But sometimes can just be value, and that's something I'm trying to like work on. Is, I guess everything doesn't have to have a reason. Things can just be, and I think for a long time, my my approach to life was like, if this happens and this happens, which is true. There's like obviously things, everything has a cause and effect, right? And sometimes when I got stuck in that sort of like, if this happens, that happens, and it's also happening because, that's where I would kind of get stuck even more, is like figuring out like what is the reason, um, for this thing happening? Why do I feel a way about it? Why doesn't this other person feel the same way about it? And I think trying to move away from like everything having to have a coherent reason, right? Is something that I'm just actively working on. And in that same vein, I recently I had like an aha moment yesterday. I was talking to one of my friends, and we were just talking about like mirroring and how, over this past week, like I've had a couple of people just mention like, hey, like I feel like you actually like really see me. And I think in those friendships that I do have, I also feel seen um by that person as well. And yesterday as I was talking to my friend about this, I was like, um I think the reason I'm able to see people is because I see pieces of myself. And it's not to say that like I see my full self. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. I didn't see myself for a very long time in terms of like who I was, what I wanted. I think just recently I've really started to grasp like I like that, or I don't like that, or that makes me feel kind of like uncomfortable. And instead of like pushing that away, really digging into like the why behind that. But all to say, like, as we kind of go through life, as we get older, as we are trying new things, especially as we're trying new things, I think it starts to give us glimpses of who we are as people, who you are as an individual, who I am as an individual. And I think as we start discovering like feeling comfortable in our bodies, for example, like let's say I really love this hoodie and it makes me feel extremely cozy, comfortable, confident, right? If I feel that and I truly, truly feel that within myself, I'm gonna notice that in other people. I'm gonna be like, wow, like that, like what you're wearing is like giving off this vibe of just like you're just here and you're just like owning it. You know what I mean? It's because I see that as well in myself. So I can recognize. It's like that whole thing of like recognizes like. I think that's the phrase. But even if you take that phrase away, like when you bring it back to the core of it, I think the brain only knows like what it sees. It only knows what it's learned. The brain is a blank slate, right? And so the more you expose yourself to experiences, the more you challenge yourself. I think that's the biggest thing I want to mention is like the more you challenge yourself, the more I'm challenging myself. I'm like uncovering different pieces, right, of my soul. Doesn't have to be their soul, it can be really whatever you believe in. But I'm uncovering different pieces, and that's giving me insight. It's giving me like different data points around emotions, feelings, how my body's feeling, how I'm perceiving the world. And the more I notice, for example, like if I notice maybe I say too much, or in terms of like what I think, like maybe I overuse the word see, I'll not only notice that in myself, but I'll also notice in other people. And I think it's very interesting how that works. I think people that don't clock onto the fact that they say a lot will probably never notice it in another person. Or if they do, they won't track it back to themselves. Like they won't be like, oh, the reason I recognize this person like saying, like, it's kind of annoying that they're saying all the time. It's probably because deep down inside, like you feel subconsciously that like you say a lot, and you probably find it annoying that you're annoying other people by saying right? So it's just very, very interesting. And obviously like this can be thought about like in negative ways, but I really think the gift of this kind of train of thought that I'm going through is like recognizing, like the more you recognize things in other people, I think it's sort of a signal that you're recognizing things inside of yourself. And that's really cool. Like it kind of feels like you're here, right? Because if you notice somebody's confidence, it's probably because you have confidence somewhere. Maybe you don't necessarily feel it all the time, but like the only reason you're able to recognize true confidence, like not fake confidence, not what you think confidence should be, but you might notice confidence, or confidence to you might be something that's very specific. It could be somebody making eye contact. And if you recognize it and you're like, that is confidence, like you probably have that within yourself somewhere. Like maybe you've had moments where you've exuded this confidence of like maintaining eye contact, creating a cohesive story, whatever, but you've never maybe dialed in on, oh yeah, like the reason I see that person as confident in this way is because I also have this characteristic, right? But maybe I just haven't given it enough space and time to like develop, or I haven't given myself enough space and time to like see it, like really truly see it, and say, I am doing that thing that I think is confidence embodied. And once you start like believing that, and once you start recognizing that, that's where that whole thing, I believe, like, I think that's where that whole thing around, like, the more you try, the more you try new things, old things, whatever, you're kind of building trust in yourself. You're saying, I followed this action and this step. It led me to this path. And all that's doing as well is like giving your body, your mind, your soul, your essence, whatever you want to, you know, refer to it as, trust, right? Just as you would have trust in a friend for them to like have your back, or for them to hear you when you're in a vulnerable state. There's an inward action there too of like doing that for you. And I think, again, similar thing here, like once you're able to truly listen to yourself, be vulnerable with yourself, like you can then show up in those ways for other people. And I think that's very, very interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts, of course. And it kind of points to like, we're always a work in progress. Like the moment you think that, you know, you have it all figured out, like we really don't. At the end of the, in my opinion, like I really do think like, I don't think we'll figure everything out. We'll probably figure out little pieces, and given like our environment, what we see, what we hear, what's around us, but there's so much outside of what we know, right? Because we only know what we know. So how do you predict what you don't know, right? And there's some grace, I think, there, and maybe some like surrendering that we can take and do to just let, right? To just let things happen, to not force, to go with the flow. I saw this really cool picture. I took a really cool picture of a mural the other day, at one of the spots here in town. I'm gonna post a picture of it probably at the end of this video, and it just says flow, and it was a nice reminder to just flow it out. I don't know. I don't like that. Just flow. Just do that. All right. I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you all. Why do I have an accent? Okay. I will catch everybody in the next one. Popping out of here. Peace out. Enjoy life. See ya.